What is up, down, and sideways, you absolutely stunning individuals? Welcome back to another FPL League. I'm Mark here with you guys, and let me tell you, if you were one of the 6 remaining holders of the VIP All Access Pass on the BROLIEVERS hype train, I gotta give you a round of applause. It seemed like it was written in the stars after losing 2 straight to some bottom feeder teams. You see them matched up against the perfect 2-0 Gen.G, and you go, you know what? I'm smelling an upset, because that is exactly what we got. We never doubted them at all, right, Mark?
Maybe just doubted them the day before type of situation. Talking about the bros, all the hype, the excitement that they've built up through the Kesp Cup, only to disappoint, only to struggle since the start of the LCK season, and how important it was going to be for them to get a win, to find a way to continue on so that they can keep practicing, can keep learning, can keep going against this, as opposed to the option that is kicked out of the LCK Cup pretty early on and not get this type of practice, not get that experience that this team so desperately needs in order to keep pace with what will be the playoff contenders in the LCK. Enter in today the Goliath opponent of Gen.G on the other side. I talked about this. I said if anybody was still a believer from the Kespa Cup, you're being checked. The ticket operator, he's here on the train. He's punching them. Are you staying on? Are you getting off? Type of thing. I said, nobody's on this train anymore. Turns out there's still some people on this train, and the boys from the Bros deliver, and it all starts game 1 with your boy, Lord Morgan, making some big plays.
Yeah, and this train's going to fill up real quick after this series, I'm going to tell you that. But yeah, it felt like, game 1 it's a 40-minute slobber knocker, as we love to call it. But it really felt like the first game was Gen.G underperforming. This was one of the worst Chovy performances on a Yone pick that we've seen in years.
This straight up looked like a Choky type of one. As much as I hate to bring up Choky and Chovy type of, this didn't even look like Chovy. This was not Chovy on Yone and what he's able to do and how proficient he can play this champion. Part of that is due to the pressure, due to the things that were done on the side of the Bros, looking at what Hambach was able to do in the jungle, how creative he was able to be, and the pressure he could create. And absolutely the execution from Closer is something I think was important in this first game.
Yeah, there was definitely the confidence there from Closer when Chovy was struggling, but it really felt like after this first game, you go, okay, Gen.G kind of had a warm-up game. They were definitely sloppy on the back foot the entire time. Here comes the bounce back, but it was absolutely the complete opposite. Game 2 was not about Gen.G underperforming or struggling. It was all about the Bros showing up, returning to that Kespa Cup form, because it felt like at any given point in this game, all 5 members, you could isolate a highlight play and go, oh my, look at Paulo. Oh my God, Hype's going back there to clean things up, flashing over. Closer's getting a 5-man ulti. Hambach's got a sick Lee Sin kick, and Morgan had some insane Jax flanks. Just absolutely immaculate from the Bros.
I'm so glad that they have this game 2 performance following up on that game 1, because again, so many times, Goliath falls down type of situation in these series. It feels like, okay, there's the banana peel, but do you have anything else? Do you have anything other than him just slipping on the floor and then getting back up type of one? Because you gotta have a knockout punch type of situation. The Bros step up to the plate. They deliver that one to Gen.G. All 5 members, as you laid out, were finding their success, different moments within this game too, where they're popping off. I think Hambach has the best play, in my eyes, a little biased still, but I think he makes one of the best plays in this series. Unbelievable. The Bros, they do the unthinkable and beat Gen.G 2-0 clean, pulling off the win for Group Baron.
And, obviously talked about Chovy underperforming in that first game. How about Hype? The rookie, 16, 1, and 15 across these 2 games. It was Closer who ultimately picked up the player of the series, but Hype going toe-to-toe with Ruler in this series, coming out on top in both games.
And the interesting angle, of course, is you got to be looking at the coaching staff for the Bros. Who is that over there? Who do I see? Oh, Edgar. Oh, someone with quite a bit of familiarity with the Gen.G organization, and especially ruler in the bot lane for the Gen.G organization. I better believe that he had something cooked up, telling his boy Hype how he was going to be able to take down what is the incredible talent of ruler and Gen.G. This is not one of these ones where I think it's massive, alarms, bells ringing for Gen.G type of one. Certainly improvements and mistakes happen, need to happen and have happened in this series, both in those situations. For the bros, this is the delivery of that Kespa Cup promise, and I'm so glad we got to see this, and they do stay alive in the LCK Cup.
The ultimate counter logic to struggle so mightily against DRX and Nongshim and then put this forward at Gen.G. But it does, I think, pretty quickly, even us included, after those first two series, we were jumping off the bandwagon being like, all right, Kespa Cup was just Kespa Cup. But again, when you went through that tournament, we were all saying this isn't just a fluke against teams that are not putting starters. They looked legitimately good throughout that entire tournament, and I'm so happy to see them return to that form in this series. This was not a fluke upset. And I saw someone put some crazy stat. Bro has beaten Gen.G more than T1 since 2013? Huh?
And let's keep in mind, Bro has also had big time 9-8 game losing streaks to Gen.G in that stretch as well. That's how bad I think things have been for T1 against Gen.G, is kind of painting that picture. The bros do it. I think one of the important things here from this point on for the bros, not only is, building off of what is the miracle, the success that this one is, the triumph against Gen.G, so it can be repeated. You're looking at the bad performances to start out the season and against some bad teams that are great, good to great, find a way to take care of the easy teams. Easy business, no problem. They might go 50-50, maybe less than 50-50, 40-60 against some of the top end competition, but you have to be able to take care of the bottom feeders, the low end, to keep building up the numbers, build up those stats, build up your positioning. That's how the top teams do it. I want to see the bros start building that logic here with them, and it all starts off of this big Gen.G win.
Yeah, and most importantly, getting rid of that goose egg puts them ahead of FearX as being the team that'll be eliminated so early, assuming this Baron group is the one who ultimately is dubbed the losers group, which they're still behind, by the way, after the great start from the other side of things. The other LCK matchup, it looked like maybe for about 10 minutes we were ready for double Omega upsets against another finalist from last year's summer split. But both Ruler and Zeus had different ideas as Hanwha Life eventually trounced their way to a 2-0. We got a Xayah masterclass out of Viper, and we're starting to see that psychotic gameplay from Zeus that is just keep going deep, keep diving, especially on K'Sante.
The skills and the team play that Zeus can bring to the table, that is exactly what was on showcase here throughout this one. You mentioned the way that he was able to do it, because yes, a couple minutes into this one, it's looking maybe there's an angle for another upset on the day. Not so fast, my guys. The rest of Hanwha Life says it ain't gonna happen. Very good bounce back for this team. I think one of the ones that we were talking about, needing to see them kind of build and show more of that power and prowess that saw them win the summer split last year. This series, this game, absolutely more of that power from Hanwha Life, and a lot more of the, dangerous weapons of this team that we talk about were online, and especially, of course, Zeus is a big part of that.
And how about this second game? Again, remember, we're in Fearless Draft, hard Fearless in the LCK Cup, and the second game, you've got Ashe, Ezreal, Jinx, Kalista, Varus, and Misfortune banned. Plus, you can't play Kai'Sa or Xayah from that first game. And Viper pilots the Caitlyn Lux bot lane to absolute perfection. 680 carry bans plus 2 gone from the first game. And my man goes, oh, great, we got Caitlyn. Perfect.
It's not exactly a perfect type of situation, but still, Fearless Draft is providing us with some interesting angles, given some of the unique opportunities that present themselves, given on what a champion has played, what has been banned out type of one, leading into that next game, especially when it is so hyper-focused on a specific position, specific player. where, you know what? Hey, let's roll the dice. Let's go back to some old and secret and timeless technology of the Caitlyn Lux bot lane. And yes, Viper does make it work pretty darn well, pretty darn efficient, if I do say so myself.
Still feels like we're ramping up in terms of Hanwha. You know, there were definitely... These weren't clean wins. They looked like they were going to be sub 30-minute stomps, and then there's a little bit of sloppy play where Nongshim got back into the games in both of them.
There's room to be nitpicking, and I think part of it is because you're going to have both sides of the flavor today following the Gen.G loss to the Bros, seeing how that one played out, knowing there's some vulnerability, there's some opening at the top of the LCK. Can Hanwha Life immediately jump into that vacuum left by a loss by Gen.G? This win starts to look a little bit like that for the LCK. Yes, you mentioned a couple sloppy points, couple little mistakes here or there that do allow Nongshim to hang around in this series more than they had any real business to. But overall, the effort from the group, pretty clean, pretty quiet day from Zeka even in the mid lane, but nothing wrong with that.
And listen, with the slip up of Gen.G, Hanwha still ramping up. You're looking at D+, the only undefeated team. They're looking like the best team in the LCK.
They absolutely are right now. And look, I don't want to go too overboard, but I might be taking D+ Kia to the moon. You got Commander Barrel really showing it in the bottom lane. And I'm telling you, we've talked so many times about Showmaker having fun, looking invested in the game. I think the most fun he's ever had in the game is when he's got Barrel on his team, because he's got that confidence in all the shot calling, all those things. He can take that back seat and just do that raw gameplay performance that he loves to do, especially on some of the champions that are in the meta. And everything is coming up roses for that rookie sophomore combo of Siwu in the top side and Lucid in the jungle.
Showmaker can keep his hands for typing about how overtuned Cassante and whatever Mel will be when she comes in. So that's why he's looking like he's having so much fun. We were blessed. We're 3 weeks into the LPL, and we're just getting the first Game 5 in this new Fearless draft. It was JDG, OMG on the day, and middle of this series, OMG Game 3 pushing to go to match point. It's 2 almost heroic base defenses from Pays on the Jinx, and obviously the rest of the JD lineup before the Nocturne Oriana Submarine takes Pays out for OMG to go up 2-1, and you were legitimately sweating if you're JDG at this point.
I was sweating for JDG at this point.
Yeah.
Losing this one would be a bad bounce for them in the way that the groupings work in the LPL, of course, as in this, first part of the season Fearless draft that we're going through. And heck, Fearless draft, Game 5, here we go. Start dialing them up. We make sure that we get a series that actually goes that full distance and really pushes where the drafts can head.
JDG did what we thought Gen.G was going to do against Bro. It's like they've been in the hyperbolic chamber and they kind of wake up actually fully awakened, because Game 4, Otacon was just spawning and JDG was killing the Nexus. That's 20 minutes.
It was not okay. Again, this was more so the pace that we've seen in some of the record-breaking losses that we have ever seen across the history of League of Legends. That's the type of pace that JDG were playing at. Your boy Pays really popping off in this one. Again, in the bottom lane, finding some angles, and even more pop-off for Mr. Scout in the mid lane with the clutch plays.
And it only got more clutch in that 5th and decisive game. And again, alluding to Fearless draft, when you're 5 games deep, you got to go into the deepest parts of your pockets for picks. We got the Mordekaiser for Ale. We had Pantheon for Jun. And that was really the only kind of quote-unquote crazy picks. I mean, Scout being able to default onto his Akali, and he puts up an absolutely vintage performance as he picked up back-to-back MVPs in Game 4 and 5.
It's criminal. I think Scout's Akali is one of the more underrated Akalis that we have across the world. Doesn't get the major highlights and crazy claims that we always talk about with players like Faker, Knight on the champion, Chovy, all these wonderful things. Zeka, of course. I think your boy Scout deserves to be in that conversation a little bit, in these big plays, making the big time moves to secure it. Absolutely think that he's up there.
I think it's done a little bit of disrespect because people remember the Zeka Silas against his Akali incident where he got solo killed, whatever it was, 4 times in a game, and people go, a scout can't play Akali, he got styled on.
That one's a bad one. That one's a bad one, but you know, there's gonna be some duds here or there, typo looking at it. But I think that it was important that he gets this performance, gets this win, and it feels good to see Akali get out there, have these type of impactful plays and moments. And this all comes off of, hey, go back to the LCK. Your boy Showmaker was getting to rock the Zoe in the mid lane. Been a while since we've seen her, and again, talk about how long it's been since we've seen her. They were actually excited to see her back in the mid lane type of thing, given what it was like when she came out on release. Love to see that we are rolling through those champions. And yes, Scout on the Akali, making the presence felt.
Yeah, you know it's a dark time when you see Zoe and you're like, whoa, nice, exciting. Yeah, bring some Zoe action back. But Gen.G now keeping pace, sitting atop their group with Weibo Gaming, both there at 2-0, and there's going to be a bit of a week off after this weekend, but the next weekend, Gen.G versus Weibo, an absolute throwdown showdown.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. You know that one is going to have the fireworks in the LPL, especially, again, it's going to happen a lot faster than you might realize. We're going to get to that point where the group starts splitting out, right? We're talking about having that winner and losers bracket side of this one as you move towards more of a playoff, more of a serious type of format. You're going to separate out here, and this is going to be one of the key matches when you're looking back on it, on who is going where and what the positioning. This is the one I'm calling it. And right now, getting a little bit of a bump. Yes, you're tested to the full extent in game 5, but the performances and getting that win over the hump hurdle of it for Gen.G, you love to see that for them.
Gotta wait a while for that match, but you don't have to wait long for a marquee LPL matchup tomorrow. Anyone's Legend versus Top Esports. How about a little bit of Tarzan versus Kanavi? Ooh.
Oh, baby. I've been waiting for this one. I need to get my boys, Top Esports, out there. And especially, this is one of the juicier matchups that we have had so far in this LPL split, which has been hit or miss here or there every once in a while with a match or a series that really can deliver the excitement that the region is known for. I'm betting on this one. I'm betting this one's going to deliver.
I remember last year with the new format too. It felt like the first split of summer was a slow ramp up before you got broken into that winners and losers when you started having actually big matchups. So it's a slow build up for the LPL, much like we got last year in summer.
There's no slow buildup when Top Esports is out there on the Rift. No. That is going to be the important thing to keep track of, and very excited to see them hit the Rift. It's going to be a different time, different feel for this team. And again, knowing the weapons, knowing the lethality that you've added in the jungle, that is what has me the most excited about seeing this iteration of Top Esports.
Yeah, they have 2 buttons. It's go and go with an exclamation point. That's their only 2 options.
Yeah, it's go and then go. Oh, and it's extra O's.
Let's go. Yeah. Those are only,
I'm down for it.
And most LPL teams probably have those same 2 buttons to work with when they are on the Rift. Got to check in on the NLC. Yes, we're talking about everybody's favorite meme dream team, Los Ratones on the Rift. 2 more games despite having a rough early game, a 0-6 bounce. That's exactly where they want to be as they march onwards to a 4-0 start. And I see a lot of people talking about the comps for this team, obviously because it's streamed throughout, but I don't know if Nemesis was even close to this vocal on Fnatic back in the day, but this guy is channeling his inner Mako, mind controlling the whole team.
I'll be honest, I think there's maybe a handful, a slim pickings worth of going back in the Fnatic comms days where you could find and see the, a budding sprout of what has become Nemesis's ability to communicate and command the team and how he's able to talk about things. This is wonderful. Again, every day I'm waking up, I'm checking Twitch right away to kind of see what's the pulse, what's happening, who's online, what's going on type of thing. 5 out of the top 10 things for me are always Los Ratones, and it's most of the times just them doing a scrim. It's not a game or anything like that. But when it's a game, Oh, it's all 5 Las Ratones immediately up at the very top of the tippity top of that list with their viewership. Again, keep succeeding and keep succeeding on the Rift as you laid out. The Baus Scion plan, it's up and down all over the place as we always knew it would be. But at the end of the day, he's crossing that finish line with a victory with the team, and especially your boy Crowny picking up some smooth Ezreal gameplay to get them there.
Yeah, the Crowny Reckless synergy has been on point basically since Reckless actually came and started scrimming regularly with the team. And Baus, teams keep taking the bait time and time again. They're throwing away objectives across the map. Sometimes they're throwing the whole Nexus just to get a kill on Baus. This is Faker levels of global taunt that this dude is putting out.
I'm pretty sure the Baus's career is just going to be summed up with a gif of, Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad going, "He can't keep getting away with this." That's how he's got to feel about this right now.
Yeah, and again, like his playstyle works to perfection. He's 0-6, and he's still sometimes up in gold. Obviously, a lot of that is his team might be ahead, so just the overall global gold. But in that head-to-head matchup, it's a sight to see. Nobody does it like him. Is the LEC ready for this playstyle? I'm not so sure.
I'm not so sure, but they better buckle up and welcome it in for the Las Ratones. Again, continuing to see massive viewership numbers flood to the NLC and everything else with these matches. And hey, how about even seeing a little bit of Braum action from your boy Reckless? That's a little bit off the books.
And listen, he has been confident in these first 4 games with the Engage, even when it's on something like a Braum. He's flashing forward to get the passive stacks and getting that go button for this team, which of course is the opposite of the playstyle that we often talked about Reckless when he was an AD carry, but the role swap for him has been working absolute wonders. The training at T1 definitely paying off for the Ratones. But that is it today for Liga Unlock. Eric and Mark with you. Absolutely stunning individuals. As always, thanks for hanging out. You best believe we will catch you on that flippity flip.